The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke and Kevin Price. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with eXp Realty.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing?
Good, Sean. Good to be here talking high school football. I mean, we've been gearing up for this week really all summer long, and it is still summer, even though everybody's pretty much back in school. But the big week is here, season opening week, so let's get down to business.
Yeah, had a bunch of great scrimmages this past Friday night, so people got a little bit of flavor. But like you said, Kevin, these count for real, this Friday. But hey, want to remind everybody, pick up the new copy of 912 Sports Magazine. It's out on newsstands now. It's our football edition. We've got Big Elias Williams on the cover. A lot of good players in there. A lot of great stories. You got a chance to write a couple. And then also, Kevin, you could go to 912sports.net this week and catch all our coaches podcasts. We've got 7 coaches podcasts this year. You can catch those. You can look at them. We put them out on social media as well. But you can get the coach's perspective for each one of the teams that we cover and talk a little bit about last week's game and next week's opponent. And so it's going to be a good season for podcast.
Yeah, no question. And I listened to some of the ones that, we went ahead and put out last night. And some of the guys already in mid-season form. Jason Strickland talking about Appleton County just cutting the guys out of machines. They look the same every year. Brandon Derrick with some of his, Tennessee country talk, the way he describes things. And then, Rocky Hidalgo kind of talking fast. And then some of his smart alecky comments, some of my questions as well. Then he goes on and elaborates. But, so typical stuff that these guys are, fired up and ready to go. They were really, focused in on this week. I think you could tell as well, ready to get to practice yesterday when we were, taping those things yesterday morning.
Yeah, like I said, these do count this Friday night, but also you can catch those every Tuesday, Kevin, throughout the week, right there on 912sports.net, or you can, like I said, you can pick them up off of social media. So check those out. But Kevin, we're going to go through the games this week. We're going to start off with the one you just mentioned, Ware versus Appleton. The Gators have got to travel over. Kevin, this is a weird situation. I mean, Appleton came into the Swamp last year, gave Ware everything they wanted. So Ware's got to play a really good football game over there Friday night to come away with the victory. But this game 2 years ago, Kevin, one of the weirdest games I ever went to, Ware County's coming to the line to kick. I mean, we're literally blowing the whistle to kick the ball off, and then all of a sudden the ref comes in, waves it off. It's a weather delay, and it just kept being a weather delay all night long. They never got to play the game. So I told Coach on the podcast, at least I hope we get to see a few snaps on Friday night.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's always an issue, the thunderstorms and whatnot, here in these mid-August games and really throughout, the first month of the season for sure. Then, hurricanes and all that kind of stuff, but we won't get into that. But, yeah, Sean, on paper, just talking about the X's and O's, the subplots of this ball game. I mean, this is dog eat dog right here, and you know it. You touched on last year what happened when they actually got to play. I mean, a 20-17 ball game that went Ware's way, and both the teams played their rear ends off. I'll say it like that. I remember getting in my truck after the game that I was at, and I wanted to try to catch the end of this ball game if I could on the radio because I knew it was close. And I just missed it. But the Appleton coach was on the radio doing his post-game interview, and he referred to not the rear ends. They played their something else off. And the way he said it was kind of funny, but he was real proud of his guys, and they laid it on the line. And that's exactly what's going to happen here again Friday night. And I think at the end of the night, when you look at the scoreboard, regardless of what it says, whether it's close or maybe a little more decisive this year, both of these teams are going to be better off for playing this football game. They're going to find out a lot about themselves, and they'll be better next week and going forward. I mean, this is going to be a good old-fashioned Southeast Georgia football. It's going to be a lot like an SEC game. This is not going to be a whack game where they're just going to go out and touch each other. It's going to be hard-nosed and physical, and you better buckle your chin straps, and you might even want to do so if you're sitting in the stands. But this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, and regardless of who wins this game, Kevin, I look for both of these teams to have good years this year. I think they're both going to make deep runs in the state playoffs. So, like I said, regardless of who wins, keep an eye on Ware and Appleton throughout the season. But we'll move on, Kevin. We got Bacon at Clinch. This is going to be a really a good game. Bacon is a Division I single A school. Clinch is a Division II. But hey, listen, we know Clinch is a provisional power. They'll go in there and play a good football game under their new head coach. So we'll see who gets away with the win there. But the next game we're going to talk about in depth, Kevin, is Liberty at Bradwell. I believe this is the Commanders Cup over there in Hinesville. Just like they're in Brunswick, this is an inner city rivalry. You got Liberty, the county school, Bradwell, the city school, and these guys are going to get after it. This is Coach Deshaun Brock's and Coach Anthony Glazer's third year facing off against one another in this game. And really it sets the tone for the whole season, who could come out of this game with a victory.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what better way to get the attention of your kids throughout the summer than to schedule a rival right out of the gate? And, some teams that used to do this don't do this anymore necessarily. Brunswick and Glenn comes to mind there. But, that being a region game is played later on. But, Bradwell won this game last year, ended a 5-game losing streak, I think, in this series. And got the job done there. So, we'll see if they can possibly make it 2 in a row. Both these teams struggled last year. Neither one of them made the playoffs. They both won 3 games, finished 3-7. The interesting thing about this is I was kind of looking at their schedules to see what was coming up next. I mean, not a whole lot of region games for both teams. I mean, For Liberty County, they go right into their region schedule next, their next ball game, I believe, against Windsor Forest, and play 9 straight region games. For Bradwell, they'll play this one and I think one more, and then play 8 region games after that, and 2 big region games coming up for them right out of the gate against Glenn and Effingham, 2 of the better teams in their new region as they move up in classification. So not only a big rivalry game for both of these teams, they got to kind of get ready for region play in a hurry, and what a way to do it here in this game against the county rival.
Play it loud. and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of tone setting going on Friday night over there in Hinesville. But we'll move on. We've got Brantley going to go take a short road trip through the swamp there down to Charlton. David Shore's coming off a big victory last week in the scrimmage game. Charlton, under both of these programs, under new head coaches. So we'll see who gets the victory there. But, Kevin, the next game that we want to talk about in depth is our game of the week. That is the Camden County Wildcats going to travel to your neck of the woods to take on the Brunswick High Pirates right there between the bricks there in Glenn County Stadium. And Kevin, you got a new coach down at Camden. Grady's had a few years there at Brunswick, but man, talk about a huge game one of your football season. This is it, not only for our area, but probably the better part of the state.
Yeah, no question. I mean, this is not a county rival, but it is two teams from neighboring counties that have played each other for years, and the coaches know each other, the kids know each other. So this is kind of a dog-eat-dog matchup too. Brunswick's actually won the last two, and last year it was in the season opener for them anyway. And when you look at it, both those games were close. Camden made some mistakes in both those ball games, and it ended up costing them. Brunswick took advantage of those mistakes, and Brunswick started fast last year and made that early lead last as Camden kind of struggled, in the middle of the ball game, kind of stubbed their toe, if you will, and Brunswick went on to win. I know Camden's probably had this game circled on their schedule since last year, even though they've got a new coaching staff. That hasn't changed. Both teams are going to be jacked to the max, ready to go, and they're going to have to kind of, ride out the storm, ride out the wave of emotions, and try to make it to the end. And it might just be whoever has more gas left in the tank. But an interesting subplot to this game is the new coach, of course, at Camden. He'll be making his debut with the Wildcats, but also making his debut in the state of Georgia. He comes here from Florida, Daytona Mainland, won a state championship there last year for what that's worth. But so Brunswick's going to be facing not only a new coach, but a whole new system for the Wildcats. They're scrapping that wing tee, going to the spread. Brunswick's tried to get as much information on them as they can. They do have the scrimmage tape last week against Benedictine. But from what I understand, they only targeted the big guy, the tight end, twice. And, that's not going to be the case. And if so, that's major problems for the Wildcats. And I know they're not that crazy. So that's obviously going to change. But Brunswick may have to kind of coach on the fly to exactly see what they're doing in spread offense is what I'm getting to. So that whole thing's an interesting subplot. Brunswick with a lot of the same personnel that they had last year. So Camden might have a little better beat on them. But we'll just see how it goes. But, again, I think like a lot of first football games, the team that makes the least mistakes might win this one. And both of these teams had big playability. Perhaps the team that hits the home run could win it. Brunswick's quarterback is a baseball player, or maybe the team that can slam dunk it in the end zone in a 2-minute drill is the team that wins it. And by the way, Williams and Hezzy Kent, Brunswick's tight end, are both basketball players.
And you really do have two of the best tight ends in the state of Georgia, really maybe the country, playing in this football game with Hezzy Kent on the Brunswick High Pirates, Elias Williams on the Camden County Wildcats. So that's going to be an interesting subplot in this game. Kevin, you're going to be on the call there, the PA system there at Glenn County Stadium. This is one of those games that I really wish I could clone myself and be at about 3 different places, because I think this one is going to be a good one. And I'm like you, I think turnovers are going to be big in this game. Whoever can make the least may come out there with a win. So, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it. You got a good one to kick the season off there in Glenn County Stadium. But Kevin, we've got 3 teams that are off this week. We've got Effingham, Pierce County, and Richmond Hill. All these guys will not be starting this Friday night. They'll be starting on the 23rd. So we'll talk a little bit about them next week and their first week opponents. But hey, let's take a break. We'll come right back here after these messages. But you're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robinson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome to this charming home in Blackshear, Georgia. This home is a combination of modern comfort with inviting warmth. There are 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. The kitchen has quartz countertops, shaker-style cabinets with an island. The open floor plan is accented with a stylish electric fireplace in the living room. The primary suite has a soaker tub, separate shower with glass doors, and a walk-in closet. This home is located approximately 5 miles from Pierce County High School. Call Kim Smoke of eXp Realty today at 912-286-1806 for your private showing.
Welcome back, sports fans. I'm Sean Smoke. He's Kevin Price, and we're talking a little high school football here on Air with 912 Sports. Week 1 this Friday night, the 16th, as teams travel all over the 912 area to play some football. But Kevin, we're going to go on to the next game. It's going to be Coffee at Bainbridge. This right here is going to be a slobber knocker. You talk about an SEC-style high school football game, you're going to get that in Bainbridge this Friday night. Bainbridge, if you go back and look at their history, these guys, Kevin, are not afraid to play anybody. You look at last year, they beat Ware County. 2 years ago, they beat the Coffee County Trojans. I mean, these guys know how to play football over there in Bainbridge. They are going through a coaching change with John Little taking over the Tifton job. Got a new regime there. And, of course, Coffee coming off the 5A state championship was perfect last year, 15-0. Mike Coach really got it going over there. They got the new indoor facility. I mean, really everything is on, that train's running down the track right now at Coffee County, and they're going to be a tough out. They play in a brutal region over there this year in 5A. But, man, what a great football game Friday night, and really all season long when you watch the Coffee County Trojans.
Yeah, no question. Coffee does have it rolling, and they are changing classifications, going into a new region, and it is a loaded region. Lee County, Thomas County Central, and Coffee, and they're ranked number 8 in class 5A now. It is the same classification, but it's the second largest classification. Right. They're actually moving up in class, I guess you will, while the teams that were in their classification last year are now in 4A. But Bainbridge, number 5 in 3A. And like you said, they're not afraid to play anybody. Look at what's coming up on their non-region schedule. Cook, another good program. Ware County, Tift, down by their usual standards here in recent years, but trying to bring it back, of course. And then Thomas County Central, defending state champion out of the old class 6A. Then they'll get into their region schedule. But, yeah, good football here. A lot of athletes going to be on the field. Another hard-hitting physical ball game. It was a good game last year. Coffee on their way to that perfect record, 23-14 beat Bainbridge. So again, a good first game test for both of these ball clubs. Regardless of who wins it, both teams are going to come out better on the other side. But you got to figure that Coffee, one of those games where probably their depth and their overall experience may prove to be the difference in the end. And like you said, Bainbridge with the coaching change, sometimes there's growing pains, learning new schemes, learning new systems, all that kind of good stuff. But they'll still be a good football team at the end of the road, and that's what it's all about.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Next up, we got Savannah High at Frederica. Frederica going to jump over to GHSA. They played a GHSA team for their scrimmage. Going to open the season there with Savannah High. The Frederica boys going to see a lot of speed on Friday night, so we'll see if they can get it done. But Kevin, next game we're going to talk about in depth is Glen Academy Red Terrors travel over to Jessup to take on the Wayne County Yellow Jackets. Again, Wayne County going through a coaching change. Coach John Mooring over there now, and so we'll see what Wayne brings to the field. Got some great players on the field. The Wallace kid comes to mind there for Wayne County, one of the best linebackers in the state. And Glenn trying to get back on the winning side after losing that game to Pierce in the scrimmage game. And again, these are all scrimmage games, so take it with a grain of salt for what you will. But anyway, Glenn going to try to get their first victory of the season at Wayne County on Friday night.
Yeah, these are two longtime rivals here in Southeast Georgia. They played close to 90 times, but haven't played since 2019 and got away from each other on their schedules for a couple of different reasons, and we won't get into all that. But Glenn did win the last matchup 47-35. I just talked to Coach Rocky Hidalgo about, getting Wayne County back on the schedule and how that happened. And, of course, he tried to give me a 2-word answer when he first answered it. He said a phone call, and then he did elaborate. But, of course, that phone call was to J-Bo Shaw, and Coach Shaw has since left. And like you said, Wayne County has brought in a new head coach, and he's inherited quite the non-region schedule and certainly quite the region schedule, which that's a brutal league, maybe the toughest league in the state of Georgia. That's an argument for a different day. But if there's one tougher, I want to see it. But we'll get into that again later on, like I say. But not only, is it a new day in Wayne, that not only did they lose their coach, they lost a lot of offensive firepower and a lot of defensive personnel as well. Lost a lot of really good seniors, including their main man on offense, the Fuller kid, who's now at South Carolina. So a lot of rebuilding, a lot of retooling there in Wayne. Glenn should put, the more experienced team on the field. But Glenn, has a lot of moving parts, a lot of things they can do offensively, but they are, a little bit young overall on defense too, still kind of finding their way. They need reps and experience, but Glenn should have the upper hand in this game, although Wayne has the home field advantage.
Yeah, going to be a good one. We'll see who comes away with a victory there on Friday night over in Jessup. But we'll move on, Kevin. We got Jeff Davis at Washington County. Coach Lance Helton's, he had a great year. What was it, 2 years ago, and then 3 years ago, and then 2 years ago, I think they only won one game. Then last year they get back to the playoffs. So kind of been a roller coaster ride there the last few years. But I think really this year Jeff Davis is going to make some noise, especially in that dropping down a classification, going from 2A down to single A Division I. Still a lot of good teams are going to be in that classification as well. But I think Jeff Davis has got the thing going in the right direction, and I believe they can make some noise, and we'll see if they can start it out with a big win over Washington County on Friday night. So we'll move on to Friday. Go ahead.
That's homecoming for him. He played at Washington County.
Oh, really? I was unaware of that, but yeah. So he's got the old alma mater on the schedule there. So we'll see what happens. We got Vidalia at Long, a really good Vidalia team, going to go on and take on Mike Feaster and the Long County Blue Tide. Long County breaking records ever since Mike Feaster took over that program. Most points scored, most wins, playoff games, everything. So we'll see if Long can keep it going in the right direction. Got a lot of good talent coming back on that football team. So I think they'll be a force in 3A, especially like he said, getting rid of all them damn private schools in this region at the media day. So I think they're going to be setting good there in 3A. And then McIntosh, Kevin's going to go over and take on Islands. I believe that's a classification. What is Islands? Are they 3A, 4A, something like that? I can't remember what they are. But
with all these changes, there's some schools I've lost track of, and that would be one of them.
And they're with all the changes, but they are a higher classification there than McIntosh. So we'll see if McIntosh can go on the road and get a victory over a higher classification. Coach Bradley Warren's done a great job down there at McIntosh. See if they can get back on their winning ways. And the next game we want to talk about, Kevin, is actually a game tonight over in Pooler, as the South Effingham Mustangs make that short ride over there to take on the New Hampstead Phoenix, and Rayshawn True. Should be a really good game. Coach Lauren Purvis has got the Mustangs. They got them into a winning season last year. Coach Kyle Hockman's done a great job there at New Hampstead. And, oh, by the way, they got one of the best quarterbacks in the state with Rayshawn True. So we'll see if he can light it up on Friday night.
Yeah, for sure. A great game here in Southeast Georgia. Rayshawn's a guy that we did a story on for our preseason magazine. I actually did it. That's not why I'm talking about it, but he's our scholar athlete. And so not only does he get it done on the field with his big arm and good overall smarts on the field, he gets it done in the classroom as well. But Coach Hockman is not only his head coach. Coach Hockman known for developing good quarterbacks in his past before he even came down here to Southeast Georgia to take over that New Hampstead program. So he's really mentored Rayshawn and brought him along, and he should end up signing a college scholarship, or committing maybe even before the fall semester is over. But he'll go somewhere and play college football. And right now, Coach Hockman a little bit bewildered that some of the bigger schools aren't after him, and we'll see if maybe that changes with a good start here to his senior season. But this is a guy with pretty good size, decent athlete, big arm. Plays multiple sports, but like I said, real smart, absorbs the coaching, and really does a good job of, looking over defenses and can make kind of all the throws. So tough matchup there from that standpoint for South Effingham, but this is a real good New Hampstead program that had a big season last year, lost a lot of offensive weapons, but do still have their trigger man back, and they're certainly going to build around him and see if they can make it work again.
But let's not forget, he threw for 500-plus yards against Benedictine at Benedictine's place last year. So Rayshawn's a cat that can get it done for sure. But last game of the night, we got Statesboro going to travel over to Southeast Bullock. The Blue Devils are going to try to get back on the winning ways. They up in classification or stayed at 5A with everybody else shifting down that they were with last year. So we'll see if they can get it done. I think Southeast Bullock's still 2A, I believe is what they are. So Statesboro, the bigger school in that situation, but we'll see who can get it done. But hey, get out and watch a high school football game Friday night. A lot of great action all over the 912 area, and like I said, going to be a lot of great football. I know, Kevin, you've got a good one. I'm going to make the short ride over to Baxley and check out the Ware County Gators. But appreciate everybody watching. We'll be right back here next week. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.